Today I want to talk about becoming antisocial, so if you're curious about what I mean by that, grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's chat. Hello friends, I'm Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do another little coffee chat. I just took a quick trip to Costco and had a few things on my mind and I just want to share them. You've probably heard of the concept of the theory that when you get a new car, or new to you, like in my case, I have never bought a new car, but the color of the car, then you start seeing it everywhere. You're driving a red car, then all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere. I'm not sure why we do that. Is it the power of suggestion or whatever it may be? But anyway, it's just when you start recognizing a pattern or things that are familiar to you. And I feel like that's what God does in my life when he's really starting to teach me new things, or trying to weed things out in my life or convict me of things. It normally starts with one little thing, then I can't get it out of my mind, and then I start hearing maybe a podcast, or I might hear somebody on TV talk about something, or a friend or family member will say something and it will start convicting me over and over again. Then it might be something that I need to focus on or work on. So lately I've been really convicted about the amount of stuff I've been consuming, not necessarily what I'm consuming, although that is also a whole thing of its own, but the amount of stuff I'm consuming and how it might be affecting how clearly I'm thinking and my productivity during the day. I've been convicted of it for a little while, and then I heard a podcast actually this morning. I heard something even last week, and I just feel like it keeps popping up everywhere. And I know that's just something that God's been trying to get my awareness, or get me to take notice and start learning. For a while, I have been trying to be what I'm calling anti-socials, because I do think what's the scripture that talks about with much knowledge comes sorrow. Sometimes we just don't need to know things. That basically tells me that when I consume too much, it gets heavy, and I can get to that place where I almost know too much, and I just have a harder time focusing and getting stuff done. So I have been noticing that more and more. I don't know if it's a distraction because of what I've gone through the last number of years, or if I'm trying to find a purpose in my day-to-day. I talked a little bit about that in another coffee chat I did, but it's wrong for me, and I need to start working on that, because it is so easy to just scroll through things and you've wasted an hour of your day. And so I'm implementing a few things that I want to start taking control back of that, having some self-control in my life. One of the fruits of the Spirit, that I need to start controlling the stuff that's coming into my mind. But I am going to challenge you at the end of what I'm doing and see if it's something that might be helpful for you. I'm a learner. I love reading. I love just challenging myself with new things, or if there's something that I don't understand, I dive right in and I try to figure it out. I'm constantly taking in information, and I find that sometimes that's just too much. I came from running my business where I was just going 24/7, doing a million things at once, to just a really a much quieter, slower oh my gosh, this guy keeps me busy. Hi, little friend. No, you can't eat that. Oh, bless you. A much quieter and slower paced life. So that has been a huge change for me due to a lot of the stress that I've dealt with over the last number of years. I kept pushing to keep my life moving forward and not allowing myself to heal and rest my mind. It did take a toll on me, and I feel like I'm a lot better now. There have been a lot of things that I've done to kind of get back to a good place, but overconsumption is not helpful. And really, it's harder to hear that still small voice when we're so busy and we're so distracted in life. And I'm so sorry about the lighting. It feels like it keeps changing, but I can't seem to block it. It's a bad time of day to be doing that. But that is something that I'm trying to do a little bit better on here, is to not be perfect, just show up regardless. So just deal with this and just bear with me. See, like that. The neighbor's now using a blower. Okay, hold please. But I'm realizing it's really hard. You kind of get in a pattern, or I have gotten in a pattern where I don't know if it's what they call FOMO, where the fear of missing out, that I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on something. Or maybe in a way it's kind of giving me a purpose, and maybe it's like, what is it? The dopamine. It's giving me some reason to do things, even though it's really not accomplishing anything. So I have, and maybe this is my public statement, that I am going to work on I'm gonna really commit to Sundays as my antisocials day. I mean, I want to do it all week, but I really want to devote that one day specifically to just being completely antisocial as much as possible. So I'm talking news, endlessly scrolling, maybe playing a game, maybe just even listening to podcasts or blogs, even watching YouTube. Like, maybe that's unnecessary on a Sunday, to give our minds and our hearts a breather and maybe refocus that time. A couple things I'm doing to make it easier and to remind myself is I have set a timer on my phone so that it is now tracking how much time I spent on different apps. It will also give me a reminder of how much time, like if I'm on a certain platform for too long, it'll pop up and say, you've been using this for X amount of minutes. So it's a friendly reminder to just shut down. I also have set a timer to snooze my phone after a certain hour. So if I'm sitting in bed and I'm just endlessly scrolling things, it will turn my phone black and white so that there's no color anymore, and it just reminds me that I've been doing this too long and maybe I need to get some real sleep. Like right now, it just says I've been using my camera for 15 minutes. But this is good. This is productive. I'm talking about the stuff that's kind of mindless or really not productive, that you're getting nowhere with it. It's just consuming and filling our minds with stuff. I think it's really important that when we remove things in our life, there is a biblical principle about that you want to replace it with something good. So while I am removing extra consumption or unnecessary consumption, I have been trying to replace that with good things. So it could be podcasts, it could be maybe good things we're listening to. I'm trying to listen to the Bible in a year. Both my mom and I are spending around 15 minutes a day listening to somebody reading the Bible. I'm also making a commitment to getting up, getting myself ready, and just being prepared for the day. Even if I'm not going out, it makes you feel so much better. I'm also being really picky about what I am consuming. I still am consuming some things, but what I'm consuming, I'm more selective about. I have been trying to send a message maybe to a friend, whether it's email or text message on Sundays. Try to encourage them, send them a message that might uplift them, or I'm thinking outside myself. A lot of our consumption can also be a distraction. And with going through everything that I've gone through the last number of years, I find it's really easy to just pour yourself into something that distracts you. And I don't want to be that way. I want to be fruitful about my time. In fact, it reminds me of the parable of I believe it's the parable of the sower, but the one where the landowner gives or maybe it's the parable of the talents. Anyway, don't quote me. But where the landowner gives one of his servants 5 talents or 5 coins, the second one 2 or 3 coins, and then the last one 1 coin. And then he goes away on a trip or leaves, and the one with 5 ends up repurposing it or using it and doubling the amount, and he had 10. And then the second one did the same, doubled his, and then the last one went and buried it. And then the owner came back and said, what did you do with what I gave you? The first one said, I doubled it, I did great, proud of you, great, good job. Second one, doubled it, did great, good job. The last one said, I knew you were a shrewd man and I was afraid, so I went and buried it and did nothing with it. And basically, my paraphrase would be, shame on him for what he did. So we do give an account for the things that we do, as well as the things we say. But I do think that is really important, that we're using our time wisely. For me, I need to use my time wisely, and I have been very convicted of that. I do look forward to a day when we're in heaven and time is no factor, but here on earth, time is a thing, and we need to use it wisely. So I encourage you, if you want to join me in being antisocial as well, drop a comment below, or maybe that's something that's been on your heart or you're convicted of. But if you want to join me in that, and at least every Sunday become antisocial with me and join my antisocials club, that would be awesome. I mean, I want to do it all week, but I really want to devote that one day specifically to just being completely antisocial as much as possible, and devote that to other things and more fruitful things. Anyway, that was just what was on my heart, and I wanted to share it with you over a good cup of coffee. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some encouragement out of it. Maybe it challenged you to eliminate some of the consumption in your life, and it might not be the same things as me. Maybe you're reading too much, watching movies too much, gaming too much, whatever it may be. There can also be overconsumption of good things. But either way, I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video.